Yep, because I'm going to start with a few slides here. And again, hello everybody. I believe 11 or so Atlassian community event chapters, which is awesome. Like, it's huge. Thanks for organizing that, Andy and team. And I believe most of them or all of them in North America. So good evening or good afternoon or something. I'm in Sydney, so it's morning, or wherever you are in the world. I hope you're safe, by the way. Yeah, let's jump right in. So we just saw Jira Align, and what I always love about that product is sort of how it makes sure that your work and everyone's work across a huge organization potentially lines up to some strategic objective or some like theme, investment theme is what I think it was dubbed, and that sort of thing. Which can be quite a challenge when working agile at scale. And now I'm going to talk about JXL, which is a Jira app right in Jira. So it's one of these apps that you can just download and also free trial from the Atlassian marketplace. And there will be also, if you're interested, there will be a promo code in the end of my presentation. I'm going through a few slides first, but not for very long. And then I actually obviously demo the thing and should be more interactive. Let me remove this. There we go. So quick, very brief introduction. Who we are. Hannes, the gentleman on the right there, is doing the engineering and architecture part. We're the two co-founders, and I'm on the product and design side. And we worked for Atlassian for combined 15-ish years, and then started our own business during the pandemic just recently. And Hannes, by the way, we both have an entrepreneurial history and co-founded businesses before. Hannes, for example, the portfolio for Jira app or roadmaps for Jira app, which is called now Advanced Roadmaps in Jira. Tina mentioned it, and it's obviously acquired by Atlassian and now part of Jira. So the company we founded is called Fine Software, which is a bit of a cute name, but it's really our passion to craft beautiful software that really helps you get your job done, software that just works. We obviously have quite from our time at Atlassian some insight into Jira and its customers and what they like about it and dislike about it and what works and where are gaps and so on. And we didn't want that Jira knowledge to go to waste. So we built a Jira app, and it's called JXL. Essentially what we're doing here is the ultimate issue editor and organizer. That is obviously a very important part of continuous agile planning. So we use a spreadsheet pattern, UI pattern, essentially as a platform to layer lots of features on top of that help you get your job done. Stellar reviews immediately. We just launched, I think, around 10 months ago, and after 8 months in, we already got silver. So we're growing very rapidly. And partly probably because we got pretty good sort of awareness generation in the very beginning when wrote about it. So they essentially said JXL turns Jira into spreadsheets. And we love that. Or we also, I know that usually the audience is split into two. So some really love spreadsheets and some dread the concept of spreadsheets. But these sort of apps, Excel is, I don't know, probably 40 years old, and it is really doing its job still today. More recently, so this is sort of the past decade or so, there are other apps, sort of Smartsheet, Airtable, Microsoft Lists, Google Tables. So these are often, they call this table instead of spreadsheet, which is a bit more the contemporary term here. You have the Asanas and the Mondays and so on. And this is now reaching also apps like GitHub, the GitHub issue feature, or Trello. Trello has a table view now. And in Jira Cloud, you might know the Jira Work Management product has also a basic list view. we asked ourselves, why would the broader Jira audience miss out on this like fully fledged spreadsheet experience? And they don't have to. So essentially, if you enhance Jira with JXL, you get just that. And one of our larger customers, that is where this quote is from. They said it's life-changing, and obviously that's quite great to hear. In a nutshell, before I jump into an actual presentation, why spreadsheets and why another view in Jira? We believe that in Jira, there's lots of like filter lists, boards, backlogs, queues, timelines. You have lots of views on your data. Jira Align is another one, or offers another myriad of views, and you can shape your data that way. Sometimes it can be also a bit, they're mostly very opinionated and can be a bit complicated to do stuff like, let's say you're in a sprint planning or in a portfolio or project planning sort of exercise, and you just want to quickly assign 20 issues to someone, or you want to do something in bulk. That's going to be quite a cumbersome operation, depending on how you approach it. So that we thought shouldn't be that way. Now, just to preempt a few questions, but I'll, if possible, take questions after the presentation live. But to preempt a few, JXL is available for all Jira products, current and future. And it is available for cloud, data center, and server. For server, at this stage, Atlassian doesn't let us list it anymore, so you would need to approach us directly, and we'll give you a proprietary license for it. And it is built to scale. So this is technology from the past year, right? So this is a cutting edge stack. It is built cloud first, and if agile at scale, it needs often like thousands or tens of thousands of issues to look at and to track and to edit. And if you throw that many issues at many sort of competitive apps or other products, they get problems with that, and JXL scales. Your data never leaves your site is another important part. That is true not only for server and data center, but also for cloud. JXL works in your browser and talks directly to Jira, and everything that's stored is stored in Jira, so there's no backend really. And now a quick demo. I have to admit, sometimes I struggle a bit with picking out sort of use cases, because obviously spreadsheets are a fairly agnostic sort of pattern. You can do pretty much anything with it. The use cases are endless. But I picked a handful that is hopefully relevant for agile planning. So first of all, what happens is when you install JXL, you have a Sheets item here in the project sidebar. That's where your sheets are, obviously. So in that, in this page, you can switch between sheets. You can have as many sheets as you want and create as many sheets as you want in this project, right? I'm going to edit this sheet now. A sheet has a title, and a sheet has scope. And it's important to mention that even though sheets are located within in projects, you can pull in multiple issues from multiple projects, as many as you want, in fact. And so in this scope, for example, we have issues from 2 projects, and you can pull in as many issues as you want, and you can essentially massage your scope here in exactly the way you need to with a JQL statement. And even users who are a bit intimidated and not so savvy with JQL found this really easy, actually, because it has these helpful, it's our proprietary JQL composer bar with helpful tips and everything. Now, so that's the sheet scope. And what else is happening? There's these columns, the table columns are obviously your fields. So let's say I want to add a field, let's say, and what you have here is really all standard fields and all your custom fields. And in addition to that, some JXL special fields, so that's some data that's not an actual issue field, but it's something some customers asked us for, and then we provided it as like a calculated field or something like that. And so there's all your fields available and more data available. I want to add the sprint column here. There we go. But I want to actually put it over here. So this is sort of what you see is what you get editing experience. Save. So this is our sheet. So this is a less frequent exercise where we edit the sheet itself. Get rid of the sidebar here. And now how you actually work on your issue, on your data. And you see like, there's obviously different field types, right? So some are possible to edit inline. So I can say this, right? Done. This is immediately in real time applied. So it's not going to be in limbo for a while and then you have to commit it in bulk or something. This is happening immediately. And let's say I didn't actually like that. That was an accident. So I just Command Z and it's reversed. So all that works what you would expect in a spreadsheet. I can create an issue. Let's say I want to put a story here, new story. There we go, and then that's created in there. What else? Obviously, in terms of editing, there's fields that are not inline editable because they're not sort of a single line text experience. So I can edit like labels. I can edit pretty much everything that's editable. There are date pickers here. Here's my statuses, color swatches, whatever you need. The epic link. I can have the original estimate. Any field that is making sense to edit is editable here in line. And the first moment where people sort of drop their jaws sometimes is this editing works as well when you copy and paste. So if I want to, like I'm copying myself now, right? And I'm pasting myself now into multiple other issues, and that's happening in real time as well. And I can do that with any, editable field, and I can do that not only with like 5 fields, but 500 or 5,000. Obviously, it takes a little bit longer, but that's no problem at all. So the request management queue here makes sure that this works at any scale. Now, interesting in terms of, so this is sort of the basic functionality of spreadsheets, right? But in terms of like planning, I have already, you can see that I have an issue hierarchy applied here. This is my programs and initiatives structure. So if I just edit that quickly, you see how easy it is to do that. So I have added program and initiative issue types in Jira, and I'm mapping them here to the topmost levels. I can use wildcards here as well. You have all my issue types. And then I'm saying like all the remaining epic, base, and subtask issue types, and they're linked to the parent level with their default linkage, which if you're familiar with Jira, parent link, epic link, and the parent field, and the native fields that are used for that. So also for advanced roadmaps, uses the parent link field is used. So this is how this levels up. You can also establish artificial hierarchy in using issue link relationships, issue link descriptions, inwards and outwards, and do it that way. So this gives me a great overview over my landscape of work. Like every day, everywhere, people are filing issues, and they sometimes often don't actually, necessarily relate to some existing epic or program or, as we called it earlier, theme. And you need to make sense of that all the time, every day, obviously, right? And so how you can organize this here now, you see with this custom hierarchy, I have a program issue type here. In that program, I have my initiatives, and only in there is it that I have my epics and other level work. If you don't use like a hierarchy, like a custom hierarchy that deep, it also works out of the box without much editing. The default hierarchy in Jira is obviously epics-based issue types and subtasks. That's also no problem. And you can obviously group issues by, let's say, assignee or whatever field you desire here. So this custom structure is the first thing I wanted to show you, which is hopefully relevant in the realm of agile planning. Another one that is quite common that I see a lot of our customers do is prioritization exercises. And what I've modeled here in Jira is the RICE framework. For the people who are not so familiar with that, it's essentially it lets you prioritize things you could be doing via 4 dimensions: the reach, their impact, their confidence, and their effort. And what I did now is I created these custom fields in Jira, and I mapped them, I added them to my sheet. And so the reach is, for example, a number field. Impact is a single select custom field, single select number. And what I did then is I used Jira automation, and you have here, you know, the trigger is essentially field value changed in one of these 4 fields, custom fields. Then go and apply the reach formula, which is essentially reach times impact times effort divided by confidence. And that updates the RICE score here. You see, this is a little bit, appears as unavailable. If I double click it, it also tells me you can't edit this. That's expected because what I did here is I said, you know, you can change from each column, you can change its heading, and you can say read only, and in a bunch of other column or field types, you have further options. So this is how I set it up now, and I could group that. No, let's not group that. That's actually what I built here is a structure as well. So, and I'm introducing now a new notion here. This is each level can be either a hierarchy or a grouping. So I have group by sprint here, group by epic, but you could again imagine like themes or objectives. I've seen people actually go all the way up to, they use OKRs and they start at objectives, then key results, then programs or initiatives, and only then dive into. But this is more of a use case for a single team probably now. So sprint, epic, and then I have my issues in there. So I activate that, and you'll see they're grouping heads now, and I can work that way. So I have my sprints here, and within these sprints, I have my epics, and then I have my further issues. And now I could say, you know, actually only show me, there's column filtering offered on all these columns, only show me, say, like everything above 4,000 points. And that drops a few things that are actually not worth our consideration at this point. Let's also sort this, obviously. So this guy is obviously our biggest opportunity here, so we'd go for that. And this is a handy way of continuously prioritizing work. Now, one last thing that I wanted to go through is we have a lot of our customers are also sort of production manufacturing companies. So you work agile not only in software development, but also if you build vehicles or rockets, right? We have rocket manufacturers as customers, for example. So what I did here is I created a hierarchy that groups by a field that it's called vessel ID, and then I have other stuff that it could be status, it could be assignee, it could be components or whatnot. And then I have parts that are needed for this vessel. So I have the statuses here, and in there I have parts and resources and activities that are needed to complete this particular product or vehicle or piece of software or whatnot. And that's another use case that might be interesting in the context of agile planning. What else? I think that's sort of a good overview, and also hopefully speaks a little bit to what Andy said in the very beginning, to capture work in the right moment in Jira. And I believe, personally, my humble opinion is that that's pretty early. Like if you throw everything into Jira, but at the same time can make sense of it with these structures and with a large scale editing and organization UI, then you sort of prevent all sorts of sideways projects and people getting derailed into work that doesn't actually ladder up to some higher objective or something. I think that was sort of the gist of what I wanted to show. I'm going to show a few more slides, but then happy to take questions as well. I mean, this is just a summary. You can create sheets for yourself, for your teams. Like you can fine tune that to be exactly what you want. So the use we see also like personal task sheets. We see people replace boards and backlogs with sheets. We see inventories and like, that sort of use case. We see timesheets, and what you get the idea. It's a very agnostic pattern table, and you can do all sorts of things with it. Add, remove, and rearrange whatever columns you need, and build your perfect view, essentially. There's standard and custom fields supported. There's also special columns with data, and also third-party integrations. So for example, your tempo fields or your easy agile programs for Jira fields, you can map them in your table and use them in structures and sort by them and so on. Create and edit inline, obviously, copy and paste individually or in bulk. You can group, you can create your own issue structures. All that with full keyboard control, exactly the way you would be used to in products like Smartsheet or Excel. And you can export your issues in the exact sort of visualization that you have in your sheet, actually without limits. What's coming soon is field sum ups. Those will be shown in the grouping caption rows that you've seen, issue ranking, and saved views, so you can actually, all these sort of view preferences, save them as something that you can share with teammates, and conditional formatting. So things like colors for rows or cells, and symbols to mask values, or data bars for percentages or like number values and that sort of thing. Obviously, it's available on the marketplace. You can just grab it there and get a free trial. You can also, if you have any, I'm going to actually look at the chat now in a sec and try to answer questions. But if you have any questions after this, you can reach us here at jxl.app. That's our website, and there's a contact. And you can also just write me. I'm going to put my email address in the chat in a sec. And this is for you today and for the next couple of days valid. This is a promo code that will give you essentially 3 months off. So in cloud, additional 2 months on top of the 1 month trial. If you need this for an annual plan or for server or data center, just reach out at support@find-software. Now, I'm going to see if I can, yes, here's the chat window, and let me have a quick look what's happening here.
Yeah, I think, Dan, if you don't mind, if you could answer those questions in the chat itself. Yeah. And then we can jump to Lorenzo. And what I will do, I get an extract of the entire chat transcript, so I can go ahead and I can take your answers, and maybe we could even make a little online community blog of what's going on in the chat and everything like that. There's quite a few questions in there, so hopefully you don't miss too much of Lorenzo's talk.
That's all right. I'm going to do that now. I'm going to answer, and also I'm going to, if necessary, answer afterwards. Hopefully I didn't go over time. Hopefully this was a little bit helpful. Thanks for having me, and have fun with the rest of the box.
It was awesome. Thank you so much. And happy Friday. I am now on Friday as well.
Thank
That's
you.
great.